All right, welcome back to the show. Excited to finish up here our very first show on Cox Channel 4, now with Time Warner as well. It's all you first-time viewers. Another reminder that we're going to be here every weekend, every Saturday, but also you can listen to our radio show, which is every day, KCBQ, 6 p.m. on 1170 a.m. And we just keep the message going all week long, and we try and narrow it down for this show, The American Dream, with our experts you hear on the radio. So let's bring on our guest here, Mary Maloney. She's out of the North County marketplace. She's new to the show. I'm really excited to have her. She's a top producer. She's from the Midwest, just like me. So I like her a little bit more for that. I hope you do as well. And she served in our military. And so we always thank you for your service. And thank you for being here, batting cleanup for us on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
So welcome to the American Dream. Now, before we get into all the numbers in North County, I know you're going to hit on Carlsbad, San Marcos, Aviara. Anywhere else?
No, that's all we brought today, but Encinitas is just as hot.
Okay, so we're going to focus on that. I imagine we're going to talk a little bit about low inventory there as well, hear how your team's addressing it. But you just actually had an article that you were referenced in the San Diego Transcript. Is that right? That's
right. They came to me wanting to know how the market was doing coming right out of the chute, right out of the holidays.
Yeah.
And they actually came on a great weekend because a new development was opening up. And
by new development, you mean building?
New building happening right in Santa Leo Hills.
Okay.
And these were 4,000 to 6,000 square foot homes. There were 10 custom and semi-custom homes. And the builder actually ended up selling them by offer.
What does that mean?
They put no pricing on the homes, and they had offers on every single home.
Wow.
And then they were able to sell all the homes.
I've never even heard of that. Have
That's
you heard of
how
that?
low the inventory is. I've never seen it before in new construction.
Then what we need to do is we need to get these builders out there building more of these properties. But I mean, the overwhelming theme I think here today has been low inventory. The question is the ways to really combat it. I mean, I'm just asking you, as a top producer here in San Diego, very well recognized, what are you and your team doing? I mean, to keep active, keep moving.
We are knocking on doors. If we know that a buyer is interested in a specific neighborhood or even a specific street, we will knock on doors, introduce our buyers. We have buyer cards. Last year alone, we were able to bring buyers to 23% of our own inventory, 6 times through putting them together at our weekly meetings, 2 times by actually ringing doorbells, finding our buyers' homes.
I got a challenge for our viewers here today. You may not be looking to sell your house, but what if you were like this builder and you could get a certain price? Think about that today. If someone came to you at a certain price, what would you sell your house for? And I'd be interested to hear what people would go for. I mean, shoot for the stars, but if you reach out, you go to craigsewing.com, give us your address and what you'd be willing to sell for. I'd be really interested to hear. I mean, I don't care if your house were $500,000. You come in there and say, get me $1 million.
Right.
Whatever that number is that you'd actually consider it. I'd be really interested to see what kind of feedback we get. But we actually have a property of yours that I wanted to show here from North County on a recent one that I believe you listed. Let's go ahead and roll tape.
Okay.
My favorite things about this home are its location. I really love being able to see the ocean. It's also, you know, maybe a 10 to 15 minute walk tops from the beach. Bike rides, maybe 5 minutes. Being a bachelor when I got it, I really enjoyed the fact that it was not too much yard to take care of, not too much stuff to, you know, have as something that I had to consistently, you know, work my back on. I came in here as a bachelor looking for a way to have some fun and have some parties, and I had a total blast with this house. I can't even begin to explain, but you know, then I found my wife and now I have a baby and I'm
awesome video.
Thank you.
Awesome video. Tells a very good story about the market, the neighborhood, but it tells a story about the seller. You don't see that very often, you know,
Yes.
and how do you leverage that?
Well, we wanted to do video differently. A lot of real estate agents are jumping into this medium and having the seller tell the story of the home, because we're not just selling four walls. We're actually selling an experience and a lifestyle. And so having the seller narrate that is been wildly successful.
Well, I know that if I was selling a house and that looked like a multi-million-dollar house, or at least in the seven-figure area, I would appreciate a video like that, getting it out there. Now you have the social media blogging world so that you can take these digital things and put them out there. And that speaks to how real estate's changed. You know, it's not just driving around looking at homes. It actually is this digital world as well. You had some tips for us on the North County Carlsbad market, what to do if you're looking to buy.
Absolutely. You talk about low inventory. There is no inventory in North County right now. And so I think the important thing for sellers to remember right now is that if they are thinking about selling, if they are thinking about that move up or move down or even a lateral move, we've had sellers that have moved 3 houses down on the same street to get the pool and the view that they didn't have at their former home. So if sellers are sitting there thinking about that, or maybe having conversations, pulling the trigger now versus when everyone else has had that same conversation with their spouse and thinking about doing it in the summer, they may actually fare better right now while supply is so low and demand is still very high.
Well, I think it'd be great if we gave that out to anyone who wants to reach out to your website, so we can give out the report, anything in North County. I know there's some stats we didn't get to here today. If you want stats on this marketplace, you can go to Mary's website, which is my-hometownrealty.com. Is that right?
That's right.
So my-hometownrealty.com. See what's going on up there. Get more information from Mary. It's great having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we're gonna switch gears here now, and we're gonna finish strong with a guest you've seen on the show before. It is tax time. It is. We're finishing up February, going into March, getting into the April season where you have to get the taxes done. One of the things we really got to pay attention to is your capital gains tax. What Bill Exeter helps us with is how to avoid paying capital gains tax, specifically to real estate, how you can reposition the sale of a home into a bigger and better home and avoid those taxes. So Bill, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. It's good to be back on.
So real quick, so people who haven't seen you on the show before, we do have our new audience here on Cox Channel 4. Explain again what a 1031 exchange is.
Well, the 1031 applies to any property that's held for rental, held for investment, or used in a business. And if you want to sell that and trade up to a larger property, more units, more expensive property, you can do that through a 1031 exchange without paying your capital gain taxes. So you can defer the payment of your taxes through the 1031 exchange.
Now, what are the time frames you have to do something like this? We talked about this before, but there is a small window. Very
small window. As soon as your sale transaction closes, you have 45 days to identify what you're going to buy, and a total of 180 days to actually close on your purchases. So it moves very quickly.
Now, you have to establish a like kind of property. So, I mean, imagine we just had Mary here. She could help you find a property that's similar. What exactly do you mean by like kind of property?
Good question. There's a lot of misinformation out there in the world today, on the internet, etc. And really, like kind in the 1031 exchange context, when you're dealing with real estate, is any kind of real estate, as long as it's held for rental or investment or use in a business. So a lot of people assume that it has to be, a condo traded for a condo or apartments for apartments. And it's completely not true. So you could exchange out of a single family house and buy a commercial office building. You could sell commercial office. You can get into oil and gas interests, water rights, air rights. You can get into fractional ownership of property, where you own a fractional interest, like a 5% interest in commercial property. So all of the real estate out there is considered like kind, as long as it's held for rental or investment.
So now, who sets the rules on that? I mean, when you negotiate that for someone, I mean, who's the one who identifies it and says, no, well, that's not a like kind property? I mean, does the IRS step in here? I'm confused as to who's going to call it out if it wasn't a like kind property. Does that question make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. It's really a federal tax code, so it's Section 1031 of the Internal Revenue Code. Most states follow the federal code as well. Some states have little idiosyncrasies here and there, but for the most part, they follow the federal code. So you're really looking to your tax advisors, your attorneys for guidance to make sure it qualifies. If you get audited, that's when it's called into question, and that's when your attorneys and your accountants will help you walk through that. And part of our job as the qualified intermediary is to really walk you through the process, make sure you understand what like-kind means, what qualified use means, and that you're buying the right type of property.
All the professionals you just named, I think people need to know that you can be a turnkey solution for that. If you have questions on any of this stuff, you can go to 1031exchange.com. Is that the right website for you?
Exeter1031.com.
I'm sorry about that. Exeter1031.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. If you want to learn more information from Bill, get connected with some of these partners, find out what you can or can't do. You also have a guide that you guys have that you give out. Tell me about your article, your guide that you have here.
Sure, it's it's about a 20-page guidebook that walks the beginner all the way through the 1031 exchange process. So all the basics, what qualified use is, it goes through all the like-kind requirements, the deadlines. So it's a real quick read for you to get up to speed on 1031 exchanges. Any
mistakes you're seeing people make right now with these?
The toughest part is the 45-day period, trying to make sure you go out and find suitable replacement property, identify in time. So hook up with your realtor as quickly as you can, start looking for property, don't wait till it's too late.
Makes sense. Well, Bill, appreciate you coming on here. Let's direct people to you if they have questions on this stuff. Exeter1031.com. Bill Exeter, you hear him on our radio show all the time. He's going to be on this show with us for a long time. He's helping realtors out there understand this, and he's also helping you homeowners out there and you investors. He's one of those guys you need to have on your phone. You need to have his business card. Exeter1031.com. I'd love to get to one or two more emails if we could before we wind down the show here. Again, we encourage you to go to craigsewing.com. This is where we can answer directly. It's all confidential. So let's see if we can pull up one or two more here. This is from John. He was asking how bankruptcy works and how it affects my credit score. We already answered that one, guys, but I'll answer it again for you. Get another one so we can make sure we get something new here. But a bankruptcy, again, it's like Control-Alt-Delete. It's the solution to debt. But if you find yourself in this situation, it does pair up with credit. I have seen credit scores go up on people who file bankruptcy. Now, I'm not saying that's something that I can guarantee, but we have a team that can help you get out of debt, get back on track. It's not a fun situation, but you got to remember, you live in the greatest country on the planet. There is no debtor's jail. It is the law protecting you. Understand how the law works. Give me one more, guys. All right, this is Stan from East County. What should I do if my house is underwater? Look, a lot of people are in this situation. Stan, I'm glad you reached out. We're going to connect you with one of our real estate elite. I'm getting a hard out here. Thank you, Channel 4, for our first show, The American Dream. We had a great time here today. You can catch us on 1170 AM, and we'll be back here next Saturday helping you win in any marketplace. See you next week.